G'day folks, it's Jumbo here again. Alright, well this is the big one. This is the one I've been talking about since the first video. Now, this is the one about balloons. Alright. Simple thing, children's novelty, something to be given out at kids' birthdays so the poor performer doesn't have to do an hour's worth of work performing. You can twist them into all sorts of different shapes. If you were enterprising, you could go into Rundle Mall and sell them for $1 each. And this is what this is about. The War of the Balloons. Okay, so look, this story is big. It's the biggest news story to happen in Adelaide that doesn't involve someone disappearing or ending up in the Torrens. Now, there is no evidence of this story left. There's only a few newspaper clippings that I have. This freaked the authorities out, like totally fucking freaked them out. A clown and a balloon man in control of them all. I took on the police, I took on the council, I took on the whole Adelaide bloody media, and had the public on my side. So this is the story. This is the story of how it all happened. So where do we start? Okay. So Bill the Balloon Man, he was the one, put the photo up there, he was the one who actually started the war. Well, the media part of it, but basically Bill, I'll just describe him. He worked for Shaky the Clown. Now, Shaky had an office in Rundle Mall back in the early 80s, and Bill lived in the office. He'd perform on the weekend, he'd go busking during the week. But he had a bad relationship with a lady clown, a female clown, and become quite crazy. After that, he hated clowns. Whenever they'd come to the mall, he'd try and rip their wig off and abuse them and go nuts, and it sent him mad. And basically, he was down there all day muttering to himself, and very disturbing. Well, you can see by the photo, disturbing character. Now, the reason I got the shits with him was because he used to do weird things, like he turned up one day with a stroller, a pusher, a baby's pusher. He's got a love doll in it with the legs hanging out like this, and he's got all the balloons attached to the whole bloody thing. And the council come up and said, "Oh, you can't do this, it's too rude," And so next day he comes back and he's got duct tape over the mouth and the map of Tasmania and this sort of shit, But what really pissed me off, they had the Fringe Festival. Now, there was going to be a massive parade through the city, and they told all the international performers that they would pay them large amounts of money to walk in the parade to sort of help cover their costs. So Bill waited to about an hour before the parade was going to start, rang up the organisers and said he was from the government, from immigration or whatever, and said that they couldn't be paid. So all these people lost big amounts of money. So I thought, well, fuck this, right, you need to go. So he's the main character. There was another one, Tin Whistle. This guy, about this bloody tall, he would wear zebra tights, bare feet, a singlet, a hat with a great big flower on it, and he just looked wrong. He looked wrong. And he had a toy car, and he would pedal this bloody car into the mall, and then set up a pool with water in it and chairs for the kids to sit in. And now, I'm not saying he did anything wrong. What I'm saying is the guy was a dickhead, and he wasn't that smart. And the mate kept saying to him, "This looks really bad, it looks bad for all of us if you're doing this shit." And you just wouldn't take the hint. Now, what I didn't realise was Bill's cousin was in the media on one of the TV stations that attacked me, and Tin Whistle's family were on the council. So this is why it was so hard to get rid of him. Now, I'm going to the council constantly and saying, "Look, you've got to get rid of these people. It looks like the garden of a psychiatric facility or something. Let's get a professional in him." So anyway, this is where the tit for tat started. Like, I was complaining, and I'd recently come in as Jumbo and wiped the floor. Bill and Tin Whistle, they used to make a bit of money. Jumbo, well, I know what the fuck I'm doing, carnival family. So he got really pissed off, and this is where it all started, the tit for tat. He'd abuse me, I'd abuse him, and this sort of thing, and do a bit of balloon popping, and now Bill had this habit of leaving his large bag on the bench, and he'd go into the coffee shop, and I thought, why not? So I used to go and buy the slushies. There was a big store that sold flowers and all that, and they sold the slushies as well. And so I'd go and pour them in his bag and go and give Tin Whistle's balloons away while he's in the coffee shop, and he'd come running out. What are you doing? You know. And I thought just a bit of mild antagonism might get rid of these dickheads, but absolutely not. So this is where it started to escalate. Now there was. This thing went for about a year and a half, and there was fisticuffs, there was a lot of, but I can't really talk about that because YouTube will think I'm inciting violence and all this sort of thing. But basically, yes, it was just tit for tat, abuse. And now Bill worked down one end of the mall, I worked down the other at the Maya Centre, and there was this sort of no man's land in the middle, Gawler Place. This is where Shakey's cleaning agency used to be, and basically, if I went up to Gawler Place, Bill would launch an attack on me, and vice versa. There was popping balloons. Actually, I'll show you this. Now we've got the balloons here. Now what Bill will do is let's see if I can get this right. There we go. Okay. So this way he's got his hand. Well, I did a similar thing, but. After the fighting started, my favourite thing to do to piss Bill off, and he really hated this, I'd sneak up behind him now. He's got the balloons like that, from behind, 1, 2, 3, go like that, and the last tape they went everywhere. But anyway, in Rundle Mall with the breeze, they go flying. These things can travel 20 metres in 3 seconds, and so that was my favourite way of pissing him off at the start, and then he would do similar things to me. And Tin Whistle, well, he'd start abusing me and doing all that sort of thing, and it was great. There was just lots of abuse and the occasional, we come to blows and police attention. We were forever getting the police called on us, and so basically it was full on. There was a clown and a balloon man, or 2 balloon men, fighting in the mall. I mean, people would be having their lunch, seeing all these shenanigans going on, and I should explain quickly that a balloon man is someone that comes dressed in a bright costume. Bill, he used to dress like a homeless man, but and then you've got clowns, obviously, that actually entertain people, and 2 different. But it was absolutely full on, and this just kept escalating and escalating. Now, Bill and Tim Whistle both got the shits with my subtle hints about leaving the mall, and so what I did, as I said before, I didn't realise that Bill's cousin was on a TV show, and he knew some of the media people, and basically I walked into a trap. Now, Gawler Place, well actually Maya Centre, I went there one day and during the holidays, and there was this disabled guy in a wheelchair playing a flute, and you can't really tell them to leave, they're only supposed to be there half an hour, but if you do that, people come rushing over and scream at you, and it's all very dramatic. And so it had been quiet, even though this had been going on for a year and a half or something. This particular school holidays had been quiet, and so I thought, okay, I'll go down to Gawler Place, and so I'm madly twisting the balloons and making good money. All of a sudden, bang! A big king hit, my wig and hat go flying off, and it's Bill. He's seen me and done an attack. And now, with Bill, I would never do anything really in front of the kids. He'd be standing there with the balloons, I'd go and pop them, same as that, but never in front of the kids. And now, I had all these kids in front of me, they were horrified, these kids crying and all this, and oh Christ, So, I've gone to the cop shop and reported him for assault, and this is all reported in the newspapers, and he's gone down to the media and said there's a clown war on, and or a balloon war, and made up all this bullshit, and I've got the newspaper clippings. I might actually put them up somewhere, or read some of them out, but so this is where it became full on. So every time we went into the mall, there was television cameras, or newspapers, or radio people, or whatever. My phone's ringing hot at home, and for interviews and this sort of thing. It became really, really out of hand, and just constant media attention. And so this really, really pissed me off, and this is where the war escalated. So I often would go home, get changed, and come back and disguised as a normal person, and I'd go up and I'd be whispering into his, there'd be ladies there waiting for their balloons, and I'd whisper things in their ear and just keep walking, and I hear them screaming at him, you know, and I'm pissing myself laughing. I won't tell him what I said. Again, YouTube's a little bit sensitive. I'd say things to him like, oh, you know, Bill, you know, the judge said you're not allowed to be here and all this sort of thing, and of course the balloon popping, but then I thought, well, I'm going to use some local talent. Now, there's a lot of street people in the mall and of all ages, and there was these 17, 18-year-olds and the street people, you know, and I said, listen, how'd you like to have some fun? You know, I'll pay you $10, I'll give you some cigarettes, and you've got to go and pop his balloons. And I told him the ring, where you know, the one to pop. So I'm working there, and they come up, and I give them $10, and the parents are looking at me strangely. I said, oh, they're hungry, you know. I get him to go and get me a drink, and he keeps the change. And then I hear a couple of minutes later, bang, 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 as all the balloons are popping. And so, yeah, I was pissed off. So I started sending waves with these people down doing this to him and Tin Whistle, and they really got the shits. That's what really pissed them off. Now, Tin Whistle decided to go and train at a gym out north, and he thought he was going to beef up so he could take on Jumbo. Yeah, like fuck. And this is where the bikie connection comes in. Now, the guy running the gym was a president of a very well-known bikie club. There's two most famous ones. He was the president of the South Australian chapter. And Tin Whistle basically asked him to come and do a hit on me. I found this out actually a lot later, but this is Jumbo's got 9 lives. You know, this is my cousin actually owned the other half of the gym. So this guy's coming out, he's laughing, he's saying, oh, I'm going to do a hit on the fat clown in the mall, and my cousin goes, no, that's my cousin, don't touch him, and I was that fucking close to having a bikie come down into the mall and fuck me over, you know. So that was the first one I survived, and so Bill then decided to use a hitman and to take me out, and me and Shaky are at the Maya Centre, and I decided to duck off and have a cigarette. So he was there by himself, and so I'm halfway through, and I hear this commotion going on. I look over, and there's a guy bigger than me, punching the fuck out of Shaky. He's already ripped his wig off, so I knew it was Bill. And so I've gone running up and grabbed him around the neck, and I'm off my feet, and it's like tackling a bloody stovey pole or telegraph pole. And 2 cops have come running over, and it took me and the 2 cops to get this guy off. And then more police turn up with the paddy wagon, and it took about 4 or 5 to get this guy in the paddy wagon. At this point, there's hundreds of people, well, maybe 100 people watching, horrified, you know, kids looking, oh, what the fuck's going on, you know. And then the ambulance turns up, and Shaky, I should say, think of Penn and Teller, like, he was the short one. Yeah, so he's bleeding from the back of the head, and they put him on the stretcher, and he's a true professional, definitely. I was really proud of Shaky. He put his wig back on, and he's laying on the stretcher, and he's waving to the crowd as they're wheeling him in, and there's blood pissing out onto the white sheets, the whole thing. So this is where it got really, really, really serious, and of course, the next day, this is making headlines, Shaky the Clown hospitalised and the whole thing, and so it was full on. Alright, so what I'm going to do is leave it here, and then we're going to do 2 or 3 more episodes, because there's a lot to talk about, ending up on national television